The segment is News Review, and I am Nanatufo Boateng. Many thanks to you for choosing us and, of course, spending time with us at this morning. We're going to go straight into the conversations. We're going to ask the relevant questions and get you some answers that will shape your perspectives regarding some of the topical issues that we will be discussing this morning. A number of issues, actually, if you ask me, we're going to start from the camp of the minority versus the AG, because the minority seems to believe that the Attorney General is prosecuting his cases in the public space instead of going to court. And so we'll look into that. But let me first of all say good morning to Elvis Dako. He's the editor of the News Center newspaper, newscenter.com. Elvis, good morning and welcome. Morning. It's good to have you. So yesterday, a section of the minority, or if you like, the minority in Parliament, not a section of the minority, because they were addressed by their legal representative. So the press was addressed by the legal representative of the minority. That's the Member of Parliament for Suame, John Darkom. And in that presser, they accused the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayene, of incompetence and prejudicing ongoing legal cases by pronouncing suspects guilty before trial. The caucus said Dr. Ayene's recent comments describing the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Food Buffer Stock Company and the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP as lawless looters engaged in criminal enterprise amounts to a violation of their constitutional right to a fair hearing. Now, they say this must be checked, and it was becoming, or his conduct was unbecoming of the office of an Attorney General. Elvis, if you look at the way the AG has held his press conferences and how he has characterized some of the cases, what he has said, really, does the minority have a case to make if they attribute or if they accuse the AG of violating the rights of some of the suspects in these cases?
Oh, sure. I think I've made that point severally on this platform that I don't think that the best place for the AG is the media space. I think the AG's place is to go to court. And you see, the AG is a lawyer. Yeah. And they are the one who tell us, the journalists, that the law says that you are innocent until proven guilty. And therefore, when we are writing stories about people on trial, we should use the word suspect or accused.
Yes.
We shouldn't just say that the person is a thief because no court has pronounced the person guilty.
Yeah.
But then the Attorney General hosts a press conference. He doesn't describe the people as suspects. He doesn't describe them as accused. Then he used a direct accusation statement that they are looters, which suggests that the AG in his mind has already convicted the people. But the AG is not a court and has no power to convict anybody. It's a court that convicts. So if the AG, who should know better than the journalist, and who will say that he's going to sue a journalist for calling maybe a client as a criminal instead of a suspect, because the position of the law is that you are innocent until you are proven guilty. And the AG is the one that is committing this kind of blunder publicly in the media. Obviously, something is amiss somewhere. And I think I support the minority's position 100%. And I've made this point here over and over, that under no circumstances should we use the power of the state to terrorize people in the media before the court make pronouncement on them. Because if that person goes to court and at the end of the day wins the case, how are you going to be able to reverse all the negative things that you've said about the person? And for me, that is where the problem is. And that is why the law seeks to protect anybody standing trial and said until the person is pronounced guilty, the person remains innocent. Because if the court has not said that based on evidence A, B, C, D, and based on your defense, analyzing the defense you put up is not good enough, and therefore these facts suggest that you committed a crime, therefore you are guilty, then we can call the person a criminal. But if an Attorney General hosts a press conference is calling people looters, how did we arrive here? And I've said this thing over and over, that the Attorney General, whatever that is going through his mind or whatever powers are pushing him, he should be very careful, because his own reputation is at stake. He followed this thing and did a press conference and said before he dropped the charges against NDC appointees starting trial and the former government, he consulted their lawyers. Anybody sitting down asks you, how do you consult the lawyer of somebody who is on trial?
Exactly. Yeah.
And ask the person whether he should drop a case against the person or not. But he came to hold a press conference and told all of us this, the whole world. It's not only Ghana, it's online. People all over the world are watching that. Which kind of attorney general is this?
Yeah.
That will say that the state is chasing somebody accused of stealing from the public. And the attorney general says, in his decision to file nullity prosecution and drop the case, he actually consulted the lawyers of the accused person for advice, whether he should continue the case or not. The same press conference led A+ to come at him. And up to now, he's unable to convince me and many Ghanaians that the allegation of A+ against him is not true. Because, as we speak, he's not able to sue A+ for any court to determine that what the A+ has said is true or not. But that damaging accusation that he's a corrupt man, according to A+, is what is in our minds. And until he's able to go to any court and according to court to pronounce that he's not guilty, that is what some of us will have in our mind. And I don't think an attorney general should be opening himself up for such attacks. And I think that the advice always giving him, and he doesn't want to take it. One day, he will come back and look at issues and realize that maybe his own desire to please the public, please party full soldier, please hardliners in the party, that they are doing something, may come to damage his own reputation. And I think that that's not the way an attorney general should be acting. If you have your facts and everything, just go to the court, let the court pronounce, make their decision. So for me, for AG to describe a suspect as looters, without saying that they are accused looters, they are suspected looters, but to say that these are looters. They are the ones who tell us, the journalists, that we cannot go straight and say somebody is a thief or a looter. We should say the person is an accused looter or the person is a suspected looter. So if an attorney holds a press conference and he's not adding accused or suspect and is actually using direct accusations as if a court has made pronouncement, obviously it's important that the minority draws his attention to it. And I think that the minority is right by cautioning the age that he should be careful the way he's speaking about people suspected to have done something wrong when a court is yet to actually pronounce whether those people are guilty or not. He should be mindful of his words.
Very well. Let's say good morning to Hamza Suini. He is a member of the National Democratic Congress, NDC's communications team. We haven't seen you in a while.
Good morning to you, Nana, and of course my colleagues in the studio. And most importantly, I have always made the point that your production team is one important leg of bringing information to the doorstep of the ordinary Ghana, but unfortunately they are mostly under-celebrated. And so good morning to you, and hopefully the Ghana Journalists Association would suddenly see the need to champion their interests, not just behind the scenes, but publicly as well, so that those of us who are entrusted with the responsibility of governance can begin to advocate for their welfare as well. Nana, I have been out and about. I had to spend some quality time with my family and also reflect on the joyous steps of this government, fulfilling ones at that, even though I admit that if you look at the social contract we entered with the good people of this country, so much is still required of that. But there was a need for us to take a backstage, especially those of us who communicate on behalf of the government, to take stock of the development so far and possibly make amends where amends needed to be made and punch harder where we needed to punch harder. And that reflection has been quite fulfilling.
Very well.
And I
it's
think
good to have you back. It's good to have you back. Dr. Ikuya Mwako is a member of the New Patriotic Party, NPP's national communications team. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. It's good to have you.
And a
Yes, good to
supporter
be
of
here.
Dr. Mahmoud Obaw.
Actually, the deputy spokesperson. but
You
that's
had
okay.
to chip that in.
That is important.
Hamza.
Indeed.
Mischief all around.
Very well.
Anyway, good morning to you and everyone who is watching. It's been a while since
Indeed.
I've been here as well.
Indeed.
And I'm happy
Indeed.
to be back.
Great, it's good to have you back. All right, let's get into it. I just spoke to Elvis about the minority's call to the AG, urging him to be circumspect in his pronunciations during press conferences and some of the words he's been using in administering his press briefings. Minority is not too happy with a description of suspects as looters in a criminal enterprise and all. They think the rights of these suspects are being infringed. They think an attorney general worth a sort will prosecute cases in court and not the court of public opinion. Hamza, I'll start with you.
Nana, the most difficult thing to do is to be invited on a daily basis to attempt commentary on mostly the tangential press conferences of the opposition New Patriotic Party. It has been my position for some time now that, look, when it comes to democratic stability, the responsibility is not on government alone. It is on all stakeholders, including major political parties, as far as our democratic processes are concerned. Unfortunately, the NPP, even in opposition, is proven to the Republic that it is not only a danger to our democratic stability and freedom of expression whilst in government as a political party, but even in opposition, it is committed to doing everything within its power to sidestep legal processes, democratic norms, just to fulfill the wishes of members of the New Patriotic Party to the detriment of the Ghanaian people. And this press statement by the New Patriotic Party in Parliament was no different.
You think so?
Absolutely, and I'll explain why. When this government assumed office, and certain people were being arrested and invited to answer or as part of investigations that were ongoing, we were told by the Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiago, to begin to give reasons why those people were being invited or arrested. And that institutions like the BNI, now NIB, could not simply pick out people without letting the public know why these people were being picked up. You remember?
Yeah.
And that it was in tandem with democratic governance. They called for it. For the Ghanaian people to be abreast with whatever was going on as far as investigations were concerned. We didn't. Many of these institutions started responding. And when it comes to the Attorney General's outfit, maybe they need to revisit the 1992 Constitution again. It is clear. He's not only minister responsible for justice, he is also the Attorney General of the land. And so his role has a dual responsibility.
True.
One, as an important player when it comes to the governance architecture in terms of providing timely information to the Ghanaian people, and also as the #1 legal representative of the state in court. And there's the need for us to create that distinction. And so as part of the government's agenda of carrying the people along, of being accountable to the good people of this country, his role as minister responsible for justice requires that at every step of the way, he keeps the Ghanaian people aware of the work he's doing as Minister of Justice. And that is in tandem with the principle of accountability as far as democratic governance is concerned, and access to information by the Ghanaian people.
Yeah.
And you see, that is why I am disappointed when I hear people make references to the effect that, oh, presumption of innocence, and so the Attorney General has proceeded to declare these people as being guilty, even though no court has done so. Perhaps they need to listen to his press engagements again. When you are a lawyer or an Attorney General in his position now, and you file charges, we have what we call the statement of offense and particulars of that offense, which is your charge sheet. It's a public document. So if your particulars of offense says that on this day you A, B, C, D, within the jurisdiction of the court, engage in an act of blah blah appropriation of something that does not belong to you. It is because the Attorney General, in preparing the charge sheet, has already come to one conclusion. The evidence available to him convinces him that you are guilty of the crime. That is why he is decided to proceed to court.
Very well.
And so before he gets to court, if his investigations tells him that Mr. A is guilty or is likely to be guilty, And he organizes a press conference to make the facts available and to inform the Ghanaian people why he thinks that they have a question or they have a case to answer. There's absolutely nothing illegal about it. Perhaps people are confusing the presumption of innocence. It only comes to play when a charge sheet is before the court. And give me an example. Any of the cases that he held earlier press conferences on that are before the courts, have you heard the Attorney General addressing press conferences on same? The presumption of innocence is effective when you have a charge sheet before the law courts. That is why he's refrained from running commentary. On the issue of, what's his name? Albert Odibuahin. I hope I got it right. Odibuahin, for example.
The Signals Bureau.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Attorney General making statements to the effect that indeed we have done this in relation to that case? Because it is now official before the law courts and the presumption of innocence kicks in fully. So people must understand that the framers of the 1992 Constitution were not simply sleeping when they decided to put in many of these constitutional strictures to ensure both democratic accountability and legal accountability. And with these press conferences, it is strictly in tandem with the ambit of democratic accountability. And this government will not run away from getting the people to know cases that they intend to present before the law courts. This government will not run away from letting the Ghanaian people know what they have found out in terms of their investigations. And there's absolutely nothing untoward about it. Indeed, it happens in all serious democracies. Not long ago, you heard prosecutors in the United States of America held press engagements about Donald Trump, even before he was elected. Didn't you see that? It happens in the United Kingdom. Many common law jurisdictions. So this is not new.
The presumption of innocence kicks in after a charge sheet is presented in court. What about the argument of it being prejudicial to describe these persons as lawless looters even before going to court?
Who has described them as lawless looters?
That was captured in the AG's press conference.
But if you
lawless looters engaged in a criminal enterprise.
Absolutely. That is what his investigations has revealed. And remember that even when he made those statements, he was quick to say that at the end of the day, they will have their day in court. Didn't he say that?
He did.
Absolutely. But it does not mean that he's prevented from reaching a conclusion as Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana.
But his conclusion is not a pronouncement of a court.
Absolutely. So that is why it's not prejudicial. That's why you cannot be making statements to the effect that it's prejudicial, because he's not arrogated to himself the powers of a judge. What he's doing has nothing to do with the issues being prejudicial. It has more to do with democratic accountability.
And also damaging the images of those
involved. What do you mean by damaging the images of those involved?
Because if you're holding press conferences and describing me as a lawless looter,
do you know the cost of democratic governance? On these platforms, you, those in the media, on daily basis, you churn out information about public servants, accusations of corruption against them, and you give it ample coverage on your platforms. Is that prejudicial? Have you tried them before any court?
Allegations.
This is absolutely. So that is why I'm telling you that even the Attorney General made the point that at the end of the day, they would have a day in court. The Attorney General is not precluded from also throwing such allegations, especially allegations that he believes are grounded in law because of the investigative institutions that have carried out those investigations. If you can sit here and do that, what makes you think that in the principle of democratic accountability, the Attorney General cannot engage a press conference and let the people know what state institutions have discovered in their investigations? So let us be calm and allow the Attorney General to do his work, both as Attorney General and Minister responsible for justice. As for the information, the Ghanaian people will begin to get more information. Nana, you are seated here. You have not done anything. Has the Attorney General organized a press conference about your rule?
No.
Absolutely not.
Very well.
Those that they are holding the press conferences on, were they the only appointees of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the last administration? There are many of them who are working free.
Indeed, some are even quietly attending to investigations.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the issue is that we must be interested in knowing, you see, sunshine is an important disinfectant. And many of us, especially those of us coming from the PNDC, NDC stock, we believe that sometimes exposing what people have engaged in is an important way of ensuring that others do not follow that path. People have forgotten. Many of our senior compatriots died for less in the past because of allegations of corruption. We will not allow this country to go back to that history. And so we'll do everything within our power to bring sunshine. Hopefully the courts will see the need to partner us in that drive.
Very well. Very well. Doc, in the spirit of transparency and accountability, you think the AG doesn't owe us these press conferences?
So let me start by saying I don't think anybody has a problem with the press conferences in particular. I don't think that's what this discussion is about. And let me also make it clear, it is not as though the MPP is against accountability. Personally, I believe in I think the whole concept of oral or bringing accountability for public servants is not something that is strange. It's not something that is new. If we remember, His Excellency even set up, the former President Nana Addo set up the office of the special prosecutor because he was so invested in accountability. As young politicians coming up, one of the worst things I hate to see on my post is somebody just ascribing to you that you're a thief because you seem to be a politician, somebody that's never held any public office. I don't know where I could have stolen from, but that's the perception we've created about people in this line of work, which I find sometimes might be unfair. But it's because of actions like this, that's why people assume that anybody in politics is a thief when it might not be true. So we have to walk a thin line between accountability, sanitizing the system, and allowing the Ghanaian people to believe that, okay, people set themselves out to do this work. Of course, there are benefits, but it doesn't mean that they set out to loot the state. But we cannot achieve that when there's always a constant concerted effort by opposition parties, sometimes in government, you know, when there's the tussle.
It depends on who is in it.
Yes, to constantly paint the other as corrupt in order to win political power. It's something the NDC did brilliantly when they were in opposition prior to 2024. One of the main things they ran on was that these people are thieves, kick them out and we'll come and do something right. And so they come, and it's very obvious that they're under a lot of pressure to prove those allegations and the things that they said. I don't think Hamza actually watched the entire press conference because, yes, anybody is allowed to make any statement, but the caliber of the person and the podium on which he was standing is no small feat. It's not the same as me sitting here and saying that so-and-so is a thief. Like, I mean, they did a lot of that in opposition and it didn't go far. But this is the Attorney General essentially calling someone a criminal before he has even walked the person through court from his investigation. And he wasn't that emphatic to draw a line between maybe this is what I found. No. The press conference even degenerated into how many bags his wife has and so she has 61 bags. And I mean, how is that relevant? Now it's a crime to have 61 bags.
If the AG is convinced that these are proceeds of crime.
No, so tell us, you stole this at this point. Like, give us the evidence of why are you holding the press conference? Because you think he has misappropriated funds. So tell us how he did that. That's actually why I tuned into the press conference. I wanted to understand the facts of the case, if the facts of the case that he could put out. And I'm here listening to 61 bags like it's a crime.
He's had to go to court, so he can't present all his evidence out there.
In the same government, we have ministers whose wives take care of them. We have a champagne socialist who lives at Airport Hills. So if it is about doing lifestyle audits, then it should go across board. Let's see a lifestyle audit of everybody and try to understand what it is. But if you do a press conference and you are alleging wrongdoing, we expect to see a less populist approach. And I think that's what this whole conversation and discussion is about. It's, you know, he's done something wrong, take him to court. Nobody has anything wrong with that. I'm sure he's looking forward to his day in court to prove his innocence or otherwise. But if you come and do this, so at the end of all of this, if the court find that the case lacks merit, then what happens? You've already adjourned this person a criminal. You've already said that he's guilty of these crimes. And let's not go too far. We were here when the same thing was basically started with the case of Kwabena Dubois, like Hamza said. And every day, something more bizarre about that case comes out. I've really been following this, the prosecutions of the AG, because it was one of the things they ran on. These people are thieves. I'm really eager to see the 21 billion that they hope to recover from oral. Can you imagine an economy as small as Ghana's? People taking $21 billion out of it. Do you think the country will still be running? But that's one of the things they campaigned on. So I've been keeping a keen eye on it. In the case of Kwabena Dubois, the same thing. The whole press conference was about how many buildings he has, whether those properties are even his. Up till now, some of those things are in dispute. Then we hear that the company, the things that he supposedly bought actually arrived, and that case is still going on, and I'm wondering what is happening in that case. And then you see another concerted effort on social media by accounts that are known to be propaganda tools of the NDC, pushing, essentially seeking to muddy the personalities of these people. So it has gone beyond prosecuting people in court to dirtying them in public and trying to create an impression that, okay, the previous government was engaged in all of this just so they can have some breathing room because they have failed woefully on most of their promises. Where is this their 24-hour economy, 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 something? I mean, I don't hear about it anymore. And
that's
these
been
are
launched.
It's been launched. Do you know anybody who's a beneficiary of that?
Practice in the ports.
Did you know
Passport
the
office?
ports has been running like that for some time now?
In fact, in truth, it's just MPS that's been running it at the ports.
That wasn't the promise of the NDC to the Ghanaian people, that the ports will run 24 hours. They said every job would be 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. We were here when the unemployed nurses and teachers went on strike. We were here when the labor minister was making a point that he cannot employ those people. So if you can't employ 40,000 people, how can you run 1 job, 3 shifts, 3, whatever it was? Obviously, it was a gimmick. And so to move us away from those kinds of conversations, the next day they put somebody on a public show trial like this. And let me repeat again, the MPP has no problem with putting people through court. The former president himself, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, instructed all his appointees to stay in the country to face accountability. True. I am looking forward to the party clearing its name with regards to some of the accusations that were out there, but not in this manner.
Very well. Very well. So the presumption of is presented in court. So per Hamza's explanation, the MPP has no case at all.
So it means the way they generally will call people directly thieves without adding suspect, and because the case is not in court.
But you see, these persons have remedies.
No, I'm saying that. So in implication is that impliedly means that counsel will say, oh, this person is a thief without asking that it's a suspect.
But
or it's an accused person.
On.
No, but that is the explanation is given. Okay, so that is, he said because the case is not in court. He said because the case is not in court, the AG can say whatever he wants until the case is in court, then he will stop talking.
But these persons have a right to take you on.
No, but that's the same. But so why is that the AG is saying that if the case is not in court, the AG can call people looters without adding that they are suspect or they are accused persons? That is his argument. That because the fact the AG has not filed the case in court, if he holds a press conference, call people looters. Because the minority point is not about the press conference.
Yeah.
It says that the AG is calling the people criminals.
Criminals.
Without adding suspect or accused to it, which they think is wrong. Minority is not saying even against the press conference. They say that the AG's pronouncement that somebody is a thief, is a criminal. They are looters without saying that these are suspects. That is what they are expressing their concern. And his argument is that the case has not gone to court. So it means the AG can make such pronouncements. And then when the case gets to court, then he will stop. And I'm saying that so it means that immediately we can also go out lawlessly and call people lawless criminals. And then when the case is in court, they will stop. Is that what the position of the law says? Presumption of innocence. Does it have a peculiar differences as to who can obey it or who can disobey it? As I've said, look, less corruption. They say NDC and MPP. I laugh. It is not an NDC and MPP thing. Okay, corruption is individuals who have decided to steal from the public. NDC is in power. They have appointed plenty people. Okay, the Muhammad did not appoint people that go and steal public money. He appointed that go and work. So if some of the appointees decide to go to steal, it's not an NDC problem. NDC just send them to power to go and steal. NPP, Akufo-Addo appointed people that go and work for the people of Ghana. He didn't say go and steal. So NPP as a party didn't send anybody to go and steal. If some individuals in it have gone to steal our money, they must face the law. So for me, I'm not against anybody being taken to court on suspicion of taking public money illegally. And I don't subscribe to the stream where we want to brand it that because the person served in an NPP government, the entire party is behind the stealing. It is not the case. NDC will not appoint anybody that go and steal. Same way NPP will not appoint anybody that go and steal. There are hundreds and thousands of people in the party who all wish that they get opportunity to go and serve. If the few that are lucky to be given the opportunity to go and serve, go there and do something that is to the detriment of the country, they must face the law.
True.
I'm not against anybody being taken to court because the money is for all of us. The problems we have from road, health, education, everywhere is those monies that we will need to fix them. So if people who are lucky to be given that opportunity to go and serve and be paid officially for the work they are doing, believe that whatever they are being paid is not enough and will go further to steal, the party didn't send them to go and do that. The government of the didn't send them. The appointing authority didn't send them to go and do that. So they must face the law. But we must also be circumspect and abide by our same constitution, who says that you are innocent until you are proven guilty. So if statements are being made to the effect as if you are no longer innocent, even at the time that the court has not pronounced, you are already guilty, then we must all be concerned because we are all abiding by the same constitution. So if the constitution gives a principle and says a person accused of something is presumed guilty, innocent, is presumed innocent until a court pronounces.
Yeah.
And when a court is here to pronounce, and the chief legal advisor to government, and not only chief legal advisor, supposed to be the minister of justice. And if you are a minister of justice, you are minister for every Ghanaian.
Yeah.
You understand it? So the very person you are even accused, you are supposed to be the person's justice minister. So at least let's all abide by the constitutional provision that you can't say these are suspect, this person accused of doing it. That is right. But to leave the suspect, the accused out of it, and make direct pronouncement, that is where the issue is coming from. So you see, let's not create the impression that the AG is above the constitution. The AG is not above the constitution. The AG actually is AG because of the constitution. And whatever he's doing is guided by the principles in the constitution. So if one of the principles in the constitution is about presumption of innocence until proven guilty by a court, I expect the Attorney General to abide by that. He should use the right words to describe people. But then when you describe them the way you are describing them, you see, it's true. Create Loot and Share was a song by the NPP against NDC, right? But that was a pronouncement by a judge. That was a pronouncement by a judge. And then the NPP people took it up and used it against people who were accused of corruption under NDC. That was a pronouncement from a judge. So it's a judge who said it, and they are only repeating it. But when the AG is making pronouncements, the AG administrator is not the judge.
True.
So for me, I expect him to just abide by the same constitution that made him AG, the same constitution that gave him powers to do what he's doing, and abide by it, and not create the impression as if because he is AG, he is above certain provisions in the constitution. No one can be above any provision in the constitution.
Very well. Hamza, there are concerns about the damage that is caused to individuals in such matters. So, I mean, the constitution allows them remedies in these matters. They can sue while being sued.
First of all, I think that when we are on this platform, we need to listen to each other carefully and try as much as possible to tone down on the emotional bit. You see, there's a huge difference between my reference to presumption of innocence under our laws and the impression he sought to create, unfortunately without any basis. Clearly, he didn't listen to me. First of all, if the Attorney General organizes a press conference and accuses you based on investigations report that he has received and proceeds to make certain pronouncements, and you believe that those pronouncements were unfounded, there's an avenue available for you to explore.
Yeah.
You can explore the democratic angle or the legal angle. And the democratic angle being nothing bars you from also organizing a press conference to make available your side of the event, public, for the public to engage on. It is not for nothing that you see politicians issuing press statements in response to decisions of government institutions, especially under their tenure, after handing over. Two, the accused person is also given a legal avenue of redress.
True.
If you believe that what the Attorney General did is unconstitutional, it borders on the principles of justice, and so he's not fit for purpose, there are legal avenues for you to explore. It is not for you to be organizing press conferences and crying foul that what he has done is not in tandem with the Constitution. You would be of help to this country if truly you are convinced about your position, if you go and test the law and challenge him It is not to be shouting and screaming on radio or TV. That is not the solution in terms of our commitment to ensuring constitutional growth. These are the fundamental principles. And so for me, I'm not interested in those who scream their lungs out that what he is doing is unconstitutional, yet are unwilling to give us an indication of where that unconstitutionality springs from. Nana, secondly, create, loot, and share was coined by a judge. And so the NPP people were allowed to use it. But an attorney general who is also a Ghanaian and a political player is forbidden to justify his use of such term because it comes from the judiciary. By making references to create, loot, and share, the attorney general, has he in any way suggested that he's the mastermind of that term or coinage? Absolutely not. So let us not struggle in the midst of our confusion and our partisan affiliations to confuse what actually should be the basis of our discussion this morning, which is about accountability. Look, we have no idea the number of people dying in our hospitals because of the greed of politicians. We have no idea of the number of our compatriots who are seated home and cannot access tertiary education because of such greed. And that is why in my earlier submission, I made the point that we have gotten to a stage where there is the need for us to signal that at this stage we are ready to ensure that many of these things are made public for the people themselves to appreciate, and hoping that the judiciary would be effective partners in nipping many of these things in the bud. You see the passion he spoke with. I expected same passion and anger and rage about how meager resources of this country was raped by appointees of the previous administration. Is he happy about the damage they caused to our economy with the monies they sank under the guise of building a cathedral in excess of $97 million? Is he excited about it? Where was that rage? Where was that anger? Is he happy about the amounts that we have lost at the back of the National Buffer Stock Company, the Signals Bureau, and many other litany cases, including the PDS scandal? Why was that rage? So that level of hypocrisy, especially when it comes to our commentary, must be measured. Look, we have reached a stage in our country that we will not window dress allegations of corruption anymore and seek to give them a cloak of protection. If they feel strongly that what the Attorney General has done contravenes the Constitution, let them go to the law courts. And I, Hamza Showini, seated here, will respect any outcome. Until that is done, I see what is happening as a calculated attempt by the new patriotic party to frustrate the efforts of this government in its quest to ensure accountability. In any case.
But this press conference is one of the avenues you just suggested to them.
Absolutely. No, I'm saying that, look, they can use that. But they are raising issues of legality that cannot be resolved with the use of a press conference. That can only be closed, or a closure can be brought to you through the judicial processes. They should go to court. Have you forgotten they used to tell us that?
Yeah.
Why has the court suddenly become so unattractive to the NPP people who in about 9 or 8 months ago used to tell the whole of this country that we should go to court? What has changed? And so, Nana, let us be very careful. And when it comes to the civil arena, if you throw allegations against Nana, Nana has a civil remedy against you. So if I made references to presumption of regular innocence and the fact that there's a charge sheet before a law court, and that is where theoretically I believe it kicks in, nothing bars you, a citizen of the Republic of Ghana, minister responsible for justice, if you are convinced that the minister responsible for justice is engaging in acts that undermines your rights, you can go to the law courts and enforce it. And as for my sister Doc, madly, because She's a friend. So madly. You see, dog, you see, I wanted to see a bit of energy on the issue of accountability. Because as politicians, especially myself and you, we are young people. The greatest threat to our democratic stability, aside your political party, unfortunately, is the issue of corruption.
The MPP is a threat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We won't get into that. You carry on.
Aside the NPP is the issue of corruption. So myself and her, it should actually be in our interest to be mounting pressure on the government of the day to ensure that many of these past officials are held accountable. That is the only way we would be safe going into the future. Otherwise, this tag of politicians being in it because of resources will never go away. And now I'm seated here. Many of the information that we are receiving from our investigative authorities, we know, without even any court telling us, that these were things that happened. Many of the appointees, we know them. We knew them before they were appointed. Many of them, we knew them before they were appointed. Why are we pretending in this country? We knew them, and we knew their economic circumstances before the appointment. Many of them, we know how much they were being paid, even in their various roles. And the overnight resources they were able to marshal in power. And we are pretending that many of these things did not come from corruption. What kind of hypocrisy is this? Look, that is why I have told you that there is the legal ambit of fighting corruption, and there is the political ambit through sunshine of fighting corruption, which is acknowledged even in well-established democracies.
Very well.
And so this government is using the two-pronged approach in dealing with the canker of corruption.
Very well.
One is ensuring that we bring sunshine to it, and secondly is ensuring that we go through the judicial processes. And what I expect from young politicians like Doc and myself is that, look, at this critical moment, we should be interested in urging the state on to ensure accountability for the sake of our very survival.
Right. Very well. Doc, let me hear your final take on this matter.
See, it's very interesting, and Hamza has gone that way because he knows I'll find it very difficult to give it to him in equal measure. But I would try. I think the problem is the selective application of their sunshine. When the NDC came into government, one of the first things this same Attorney General who goes around calling everybody a criminal, even before presenting his case in court, the first thing he did was to grant nolli prosequi and block to all the NDC people that were under investigation. And if it's about lifestyle audits, I have already mentioned on this table that if we audit the NDC members, even when they were in opposition, most of them cannot explain their sources of funding. So if you are trying to sanitize the system, all we are saying is that make it fair across board. Do not make it selective, like these are the people that have done this. And he went on to list a lot of the propaganda tools that they use in opposition. National Cathedral, you've had it audited several times. Every time you don't seem to like the findings of the report, so you commission another audit. You can audit it 100 times, it will tell you the same thing. Then he goes on to, what was the other, Edubwa, his case. I've already just told you that the main allegation that he bought some devices from Israel and blah, blah. The company in Israel has come to say they've delivered the things. So what is the basis of the charge? There's nothing more than a very concerted effort by the NDC to paint the MPP in a very black light when it comes to corruption, because that's the only leg they can stand on in a competition between the two parties. They never campaign on policy or on really how they can improve the lives of Ghanaians or how they can bring development. You see, in 2008, after His Excellency President Kufuor's term, about 30 MPP members of the previous administration were put before court by the NDC. That's what they wasted their whole period in government on, to prosecute this. Some people were taking off flights, blah, blah. How many successful prosecutions did they have of the 30 people they put through that? And in the same vein, they muddied them, said all manner of things, and painted them absolutely black in the eyes of the public, even before the matters were sent to court. To prove that somebody is corrupt or that something untoward has happened, it's not just the word of an NDC member who stands to gain something by accusing the opponent of something. That's just not the way it's done, and that's all I'm saying. And especially because we are both young politicians, Hamza, we are both coming. We do not want a situation where, because NDC will not be in government forever. There's no way that your government will be in power forever. You will leave. And at that point too, is it fair of me to come and say that, oh, Hamza, you have a really nice watch and you have a nice aura around you, so I suspect that you've stolen some money. Then you are dragged through the mud, all for nothing. That is not the kind of democracy we want. I do not believe that that's the kind of democracy that he and I, or like any young person in this country wants. We want a democracy that is focused on development. We want to come and sit here and we are talking about different ways to move the country forward, so that we stop all wanting to leave the country and all wanting to travel. It's because they've built a better economy, they've built a better system for themselves there, that they are comfortable there. That is what we should be focused on. But they spend half of their time accusing people of crimes that they will never be able to prove. So I am quite happy that all these things are happening. Let it go through court and let's see how many of these people you can convict. The 21 billion, of which you've added 96 or so from the National Cathedral. But every day we have people from your government coming out to give one excuse or the other as to why it is not so.
We've been told by the deputy AG that figure is not backed by evidence.
Yes, they cannot get their story straight on this National Cathedral issue. But they use this as such an effective propaganda tool in opposition that now it has become an albatross around their necks. I hear they are commissioning another audit report. They will go through the big three of the auditing companies and they will still not be satisfied with the findings that they bring, because they know themselves they were lying. A lot of these allegations that they are talking, they know is made up, or they go into the facts of the matter and they realize it's not like that. But you've already sung such a terrible message to the people of Ghana that you do more theatrics to back the ridiculous claims you've made. Nobody is against accountability. That has never been the position of the MPP. In fact, if you look at history and everything, we've always stood for that kind of accountability. We stood for clean politics, a clean democracy that is focused on the development of this country and not loot and share. But because of their inability to come up with cogent policy, something to campaign on, they always seem to come back and rely on these people are thieves, kick them out. You can look at the history of the Fourth Republic. Every time the NDC is campaigning to get the MPP out of government, their message is simple: these people are thieves, kick them out. Then they come, they are unable to prove these allegations. Just the same way, I'm sure in 4 years we'll come and sit here and I'll be asking Hamza, where is the 21 billion? Because we are very curious to see that somebody can take $21 billion out of the Ghanaian economy and things are still moving smoothly. It just doesn't happen. You know what you are saying is completely false. And so now you've put your Attorney General in a position where he's making press conferences and making pronouncements that he shouldn't make. I'm sure even from his own presentation this morning, he's finding it very difficult to justify some of the things that the AG said. Because the fact that you are AG doesn't mean that you're allowed to presume everybody guilty because you have made these because that's your opinion on something. No, that's why we have the court.
That's his convictions based on his investigations.
Yes, it's still your opinion. It is not the judgment of a court. It's not the decision of a court. It is still purely his opinion. But you come and say it with the stature of your office, and it is a problem. It's not something we can allow to go on. Or very soon the tables turn, and the AG for the MPP also comes out to say, you've done this, you've done that, you're a criminal, you used it to buy 100 bags for your wife, and you bought her an S-Class. You were talking about how you knew the circumstances of certain people before they came into power. Yeah. We also knew the circumstances of some of you before you came into power, and the circumstances of your girlfriends who are now driving S-Classes. We will come to that. So if you want us to go down that path, you are in no way clean. But let's create a system where anybody that tries to take the government or the state for a ride is dealt with and held accountable. That's the system we want, not some selective application of justice to justify your inability to come up with plans to develop this country.
The responsibility of proof lies with the AG. If he says it and is able to prove it in
beyond the reasonable, then that's fine, and that's what we are all waiting for. But you don't, these pronouncements, I don't know if you watched the press conference yourself.
I did.
It's the pronouncement and the confidence with which he makes these
because
pronouncements.
He's convicted based on the evidence.
Yes, and that's why he's taking it to court. But you know, that is why they use very measured language. During his whole press conference, I was waiting for an allegedly. I don't think I heard even one allegedly. He was speaking as though this matter is a slam dunk. It has already gone to court. The judge has already pronounced judgment, and this person is a criminal. You see, that was the nature of it was like a post-trial press conference instead of a pre-trial one. Because I didn't hear one allegedly. And we are in no way saying or justifying the acts or the alleged acts of this person. In fact, we haven't even gone into the details of the case. But it's the way these things should be handled going forward. We are trying to pursue accountability, transparency. That is absolutely fine. But you don't do that at the detriment of the hard-earned careers people have built.
A few quick messages. This one says...
Let me add something.
Briefly.
Maybe Hamza didn't know my position.
I will respond.
Okay.
I will respond. Me, you know that. As a matter
the
of
National Cathedral, you know my position. From day one, I've been against it. I said I don't believe that public money should ever be used to build a National Cathedral. So if you're asking about rage in shouting is no rage. Because we have shouted the Fourth Republic about corruption. It has brought us nothing. Do you understand? We've shouted about corruption in this country, in the Fourth Republic. We've not achieved any meaningful outcome of it. That's why I'm not interested about shouting about corruption. My point is simple. Let them go to the court and let the court deliver and know that this one is guilty or this is not guilty. It's not about me sitting here or somebody going to hold a press conference, AG calling somebody. In the Fourth Republic, count, if we want to just Google now, the number of people who have been accused of corruption in this. You understand that? So me, I'm not about press. I'm interested, and as I've said before,
getting results in
I
the courts.
said I am not in support of anybody who has stolen within one city of public money, because that money is for all of us. So if the AG believes that people stole money, take them to court. Let the court pronounce, but not by press conference. We've done this thing in the Fourth Republic. MPP is corrupt. Then we vote them out. And this is corrupt. We vote them 30-something years in the Fourth. We are still struggling to get any meaningful fight against corruption. So let's do something new and get that maybe by the end of the 4 years, and this government has convicted maybe 100 former appointees and they are in jail. Then we know that we are making some significant progress in corruption. But when in 4 years, maybe one person, two people are convicted. I'm not excited about that.
Nana, briefly, you see, it is exciting listening to my brother say that he's not interested in, but I was talking about his rage directed at a so-called imagination of the new patriotic party that the rules are being breached in terms of presumption of innocence. And I indicated that I was hoping that I could feel the same rage in terms of the quantums that we are being told that we have lost. And you see, this country must begin to ask itself the critical questions. I heard my sister say that there are examples of our girlfriends, because I'm including myself.
Oh, you have a girlfriend?
I don't. Interesting.
So why are you including yourself?
But I have to consider those of you who are in power now, because we are in power, driving expensive cars. Doc, with the greatest of respect, for me, I'll be interested in that information. You see, we must move our politics beyond mere accusations as young people and back it out with actual concrete information that state authorities can work on. And so if you really feel strongly about what you are saying, my advice to you is simply to get 2 or 3 of your colleagues, write petitions to either the office of special prosecutor that you have prosecuted, that you people have created, or any state investigative arm that you have confidence in, and name these people and let the state authorities investigate. And trust me, if the investigations are started and some of us see sense in these allegations around this table, I will gladly support you and demand the sacking of such appointees. Until that is done, that has always been the stock in trade of the new patriotic party.
It's a similar position they've espoused.
They find an unacceptable way of throwing in needless red herrings anytime we are discussing issues of accountability that borders on their role in government. These are all tangential, intended, please, it's important, intended to obscure the facts. You've heard them recently throwing about the figure of $21 billion, $21 billion. Whether $21 billion, $30 billion, $100 billion, the John Dramani Mahama administration and the National Democratic Congress will ensure that we pull out any penny that these guys in the last 8 years spent unlawfully.
Very well.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And
but
nothing will prevent us from doing so. And this gimmicks, of trying to obfuscate the issues and belittle the importance of accountability will not watch this time around. They have dared us. That we need to show them examples of people at the end of our tenure. That this is important.
The importance of accountability. But you started by talking about the improvements in the quality of life of some people and I'm just pointing out that it's the same thing in your side. And so if that's a basis for investigation,
I don't want to argue. I don't want to be forceful in my argument, please. I don't want to. You know,
I need to take a break.
You want me to spoil my morning this morning? I won't do that.
No, you're having a good morning.
But you see,
let me take a break.
No, just under seconds, about under 5 seconds. What I'm saying is that, look, as a political party, the NPP should see the need. It is one important way of rebranding. At this stage, they must support this government in our quest for accountability. It is for their own sake.
Very well.
And my brother says that, oh, cathedral. So we are not interested in what happens there today.
He is. He's always been against this. He said it. Anyways, let's take a break here. Well, when we come back, we'll hear from Doc a final submission on this matter. I'll take a few of your messages and then we'll continue to other matters. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. Hello again. Grateful that you chose us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. We're having the news review segment. I'll take a few of your messages and then we'll move on to some other matters. Good morning, Nana Tufo. Teachers execute their competence in the classroom. Nurses show their competence at the hospital. Journalists execute their competence in the media space, while competent lawyers execute their competence in the law court. Any lawyer that enjoys his work in the media space is a journalist, not a competent lawyer.
People can express comment in this country.
The most unfortunate statements I'm hearing this morning from the NDC's communications team member is that the Attorney General can call his opponents criminals because they will have an opportunity to defend themselves in court. Frank McKay and Nima Pia sent that one. Haj Ahmed Nima says the Attorney General should take Ghanaian seriously. His media flip-flopping is too much. Suspects are convicted before the real trial. This is dangerous to our democracy. Enoch Enafienya says the few minority led by Honorable Afenyo Markin should give us a break in this country. If they think the AG is not doing what's required of him, the court is there as he used to do. He should spare our minds because we are happy with the AG for how he's carrying us along. Mr. Host, kindly assist to draw the attention of the NDC communicator that the Attorney General is a legal-minded person and has a responsibility to uphold the law in its entirety. He can't pronounce people guilty, and when he's not the court with the competencies as enshrined in our Constitution. His comments are prejudicial and must not be tolerated. Kwesi in Accra sent that. If I heard the AG well, the pronouncement was on the activity engaged in criminal enterprise, not the same as saying the person is a criminal. Mbana sent that one in.
No, he said criminal.
The AG is a walking contradiction. He keeps on shifting the goalposts by using the media for prosecution and churning different figures of alleged money stolen. Is that the way to go? Swallow from La Paz is asking. Bright Cramper from University of Ghana. The Attorney General is not an agent of political parties, nor is his office a platform for the pursuit of political vendetta. His duty is to the people of Ghana, not to the interest of any single political faction. If there are valid accusations against any public official or politician, the right course of action is clear. Present the evidence and let the judicial system decide, rather than resorting to media soundbites or public intimidation. This one says, I agree with Elvis and the MPP lady. The AG should stop the talking and ensure that the law takes place. I thought by now the special tribunals would have been set up and functioning. Your name is Rex. All right, keep the messages coming in. We'll do our best to read them. Let's move on to some other matters. We're going to the camp of the New Patriotic Party. Paul Afoko is back. He's declared a bid to contest the chairmanship slot of the New Patriotic Party. Doc, this is your home, so I'm coming to you first.
Okay.
Paul Afoko. Did you see this coming?
No, I was quite surprised by it, to be honest. But, you know, I think that when the news came out, I saw some reactions on social media, and so I think we can make some clarifications.
Very well.
He was suspended from his role as national chairman some time back. He was not expelled from the party. and he didn't leave the party. So the amnesty that required that when you join the party, you have to wait 2 years before contesting really doesn't cover him. So he's within his rights as a member of the New Patriotic Party to contest for the position of national chairman, and I guess we will wish him well. The key thing that we are all looking at is whether he still has that popularity in the party, because he left about 10 years ago, if I'm not
2015.
Yes, that's a long time. A lot of us.
He didn't leave. You said he suspended.
He was suspended.
No, I mean, when I say he left the scene, yes, he left the scene of MPP some time ago. So, like, I'm very eager to see the level of popularity that he has now. I think the competition for the national positions in the party are getting really interesting. Some really interesting names are popping up.
Indeed.
And so that's something that we will watch keenly, and we wish him the best. I think for the national chairman role, we've heard of himself, we've heard of Boakye Japon, we've heard of John Boedu, and then I think I've seen Nana Kumia as well. I'm hoping he also contests as General Secretary.
Yeah.
But I think, anyway, these conversations are ones that we will have a little later. And
there'll be time for that.
Yes, and we can be more open on our stance on some of these things. But for now, I think he's within his rights to contest, and it should be an interesting contest for us after the flag bearership, of course.
Right. We'll keep an eye open for that. Elvis, you mentioned that he was suspended 10 years ago, 2015, and so he couldn't have played much of a role. But you see, Kwame Japon still found a way to keep his name within the MPP politics. He's been more active even after that suspension. Paul Afoko was not so active within that period.
I've always said that internal politics is more vicious and more dangerous than
national.
When you are having national.
Indeed.
It's more vicious. See, within the party, everybody wants to be seen as a power player, a power broker.
Yeah.
So people actually undertake all kinds of orchestrations against each other.
Yeah.
And as I said, some of us, like me, I can't survive in politics. Because when you hear some of the things people do within the party, they sit in the same office and working, and sometimes they are not even talking to each other. And you ask yourself, then what are you working for? I think what was done to Paul Afoko was really unfair. I think that was I think some people orchestrated it. That is my view. I think people deliberately orchestrated that thing against him and Kobna Japon and crap.
Yeah,
I think some people just orchestrated something against them just to get them suspended. And you see, what happened to them, I think MPP should learn a lesson next time. It shouldn't happen. Because the suspension was never lifted, if I stand to be corrected. But I've never heard anywhere that the suspension on these people was officially lifted. And the question, how can people be suspended and it is indefinite? I don't understand it. I just don't understand how people can be suspended and it's indefinite. Over 10 years ago, something happened, you said people have been suspended. If after the general election, somebody should say, oh, no, this suspension is lasting for a month, 2 or 3. The disciplinary committee that actually took the decision to suspend them, didn't they give a duration for the suspension? So I think that MPP is building a party. And you see, what happened to these people has the potential had actually affected so many people in many ways that they may think that there will be no need to sacrifice for their party. So now that they have offered this general amnesty, which has made it possible for Afoko now to come and say, want to contest. I think Rapto also said he want to contest a position. I think that the party should learn lessons and I've always said it, let the suspension have deadlines, okay? Once you are a disciplinary committee and you are taking a decision, the decision must be clear. The person is being suspended 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, based on the first A, B, C, D. After that, when the deadline is up, what steps should the person take, or what steps should the party take for the person to be restored as a full member of the party? In party, it is the numbers. Every single person's vote matters, and it is one vote, one person. So yes, people may do things that the person may say infringe on party rules. Yes, they need to be sanctioned, but the sanctions must have definite timelines.
True.
And I think that is something I've realized that in both political parties, you hear that people are suspended, but when you read the statement suspending, they never talk about when the suspension will end.
Sometimes the trick is that the suspension comes around a time that the party might be going into elections.
Yeah.
And so by the time you come back,
It
elections have happened.
It doesn't
So-
matter. See, you build confidence in your people
Yeah.
if they know that, oh, this person is suspended for 3 months. It's this one. People will get to know that even if I falter
Yeah.
and I'm suspended, there will be definitely time that I'll be returning to the party.
The party constitution should be able to state all this.
So that's why I have a problem with the way the disciplinary committee took their decision. So I am saying that I'm happy that, say, in a political party, I say a political party like an NGO, nobody is paying anybody apart from maybe national officer or somebody. Everybody support the party and all those things. Nobody is when maybe party wins power and then you are lucky to get some appointment and you get some salaries and the rest. That's why you say you are benefited from your party. But until then, you are all dedicating your energies, your resources to support the party. So I think their sanctions should also be measured to know that the people you are sanctioning, it's not that you are paying them any salary.
Right.
These people have voluntarily committed their time, resources to support the party because maybe they believe in their ideals. And something happened and the person is suspended indefinitely. I think that parties need to reform. They need to refine some of the ways they go about it, because their process should be tilted towards actually bringing in more people rather than getting people out of the number. Afoko has contributed so much to the NPP. Comrade Japan did so much for the NPP. So if this people were even be suspended at the time, there should have been a timeline. I think that his decision to contest is good for the party because at least the semblance is that now he has some confidence that maybe the right things have been done and that he can return to the party for and become very active. That is how I see it. But if I were him, or if I was advising him, I would have asked that he just wait for this particular primaries to be back. They return to the party, play whatever role. Then maybe if there is the next elections within the party, you can go. But truth is that the chairmanship elections are going to be held maybe middle of next year because it's the flag bearership that is in January
31.
But this one they have not even fixed date and the rest. So because I'm wondering that now that it's coming, what time will he have to campaign, go back to the people? Because we have all said it's like in the public space. Maybe underground he may be doing something we do not know. But in the public space, we've not really seen him involved in anything NPP publicly. So for me, I'm thinking that maybe that may have an impact on his campaign to become, but maybe to sympathy vote. People who believe that the way he was treated, they think it's unfair, may still to his side and think that he won an election as chairman. He was removed from office in ways and manner that many people have problems with. Probably that sympathy vote plays. He may become the next chairman
Optics
again.
actually matter in politics. You never know. He could be staging this one now to test the waters to stage a proper comeback in a subsequent election, but we never know. Hamza, from where you sit as an how do I put it? Interested part. What do you make of a comeback, staging a comeback? Paul Afoko.
Nana, the politics of the New Patriotic Party. You see, you cannot talk about Afoko's decision to come back without references to the current position of the New Patriotic Party and the fact that this is a party that is clearly struggling. And unfortunately, no steps are being taken to resuscitate the New Patriotic Party, especially after their humiliating defeat. On daily basis, it appears we are dealing with an opposition party that is interested in ruining the fortunes of the party and hopefully with a master plan of serving the country better by eventually relegating the party to the background. Because that would undoubtedly serve the Republic very well. But you see, Nana, I had in the past unmatched confidence in the leadership of Mr. Paul Afoko at the time that he was elected. And at this, I'm speaking as a Ghanaian and a concerned Democrat who is desirous of an effective opposition party. And I do not think, with the greatest of respect to him, that especially after he was ousted, he has done anything demonstrating enough zeal to fight for what he believes is right. And that is one thing that would go strongly against him in the contest. Look, for a national chairman of the biggest opposition party then to have been sacked by the flag bearer in the manner in which he was sacked, and he didn't put up any fight and went into hibernation for 8 good years. One
was he
begins to
sacked
wonder.
by the flag bearer or suspended by
We
the
can
neck?
decide to dress it in whatever robes we want, but we know, as a matter of fact, that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was not comfortable with him, and it was Nana Addo who instigated their sacking.
That's not very fair.
That's the truth.
Hamza, you know this how?
Look, we can decide to play the politics, but you know that it was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who
now you're
got
putting it to me.
Mr. Paul Afoko out. Yes, because
you know?
I do not know. So I'm surprised you put it to me.
I don't know.
No.
Is
That
that
was communicated to us was a suspension based on a decision by
and for
neck.
me, that is where my disappointment comes in, especially being a Northerner. I was disappointed that he went down so easily without putting up a fight. Because you see, in this life, we must stand for something. We must stand for principles.
Like the CJ is doing. Let's remove CJ.
Who?
Like the remove CJ.
Absolutely,
is
and I
doing.
respect her for that. I respect her for that. And I think I've made that point on this platform.
Yeah.
I say that
Yeah.
it is within her right to continue the fight. And I did not see that fighting spirit in Mr. Paul Afoko. He failed to demonstrate to the good people of this country that he had principles that he was holding on to. He went straight into hibernation. And so by that act alone, he only did not succeed in telling the generation then that he didn't have the fire to fight, but he succeeded in telling even generations that were even preparing the grounds to jump into politics that, look, this is not a man who is reliable enough in terms of the political temperature we have in this country. Indeed, like they said, Kopna J.R. Japong, another unreliable person, unfortunately.
Hamza.
Oh, but we are dealing with a general secretary who once upon a time was flag bearer to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, fell out and betrayed the cause of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Nana Addo decided to ostracize him, even as general secretary, and even subsequently in government. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia decided to take him on board. I do not have any modicum of respect for such politicians. Decided to take him on board, made him an instrumental member of his campaign, as if to say that indeed Nana Addo has been vindicated. The same gentleman, after managing Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's campaign, suddenly decides to go and pick a form and contest against Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So, that is the character we are talking about. Unreliability.
But in Akwetia, we saw your lawyer for your supposed candidate who had supposedly won an election, contesting, beat him in primaries, and is now MP.
Oh, but I am telling you that as for elections, I don't have a problem with it. But I am talking about reliability. You can decide to describe that as any way you want. You understand? But I'm talking about reliability. For someone to have brought you that close, I find everything wrong with that decision to contest.
Right.
Especially when the person is still in the race. But you see, that is not even the substance of the issue. It is about Paul Afoko.
Yeah.
And I feel that over the years, he has demonstrated that there are no principles we can measure him by. And we do not need such people in the politics of our country. We are interested in people who we can measure against certain principles. He appeared in the past to be a strong leader. When the test eventually came, he demonstrated to everybody, not just MPP supporters, that indeed he is weak and meek. Our politics has no room for such players. I think that he needs to accept that the time has come for other people to put up themselves for that particular role. He had his time. He failed to fight to consolidate his position. He lost it. And it is in the interest of the New Patriotic Party to begin to engage to get a chairman who can take them at least out of the woods. All the names that they are throwing around, I do not see any viable candidate for chairman, in all honesty.
Really?
Absolutely not. I do not, from where I sit. And that is the reason why whoever becomes flag bearer, of course, it is my hope that becomes Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
That is your hope.
Yes.
It's all our hopes.
Because
It will happen.
it is somebody we can easily defeat.
You share the hope, but the
Because
reasons for
because
it
he's
might be
because-
different.
Not
Because his record
against Mahama.
Because
Mahama before we can
because
beat
his
him.
record is known.
No, it's the same thing.
His
Mahama
record is
is in
known.
government. It
But you
shows
see-
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will come and be in government. It's so simple.
you see, as for the New Patriotic
Politician.
Party, I can assure them that the damage that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has caused them in the last 16 years, it will take a lifetime to undo. And they seem to be underrating the effects of the Nana Addo leadership on the party. Whoever emerges must lead a charge to rebrand that political party and take it away from the unfortunate legacy of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That is what is his name, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. That is the only way the opposition New Patriotic Party can begin to position itself to be engaged in any meaningful political discourse as far as our democracy is concerned. Look at the front bench in Parliament. I have had cause to make references to it in the past. Still remnants of the Nana Addo bad leadership as far as the party level is concerned. Look at the national executives. The national executives, if you look at them, it looks like it's a parade of incompetence.
That's not fair.
And that is the unfortunate reality. She knows.
Not fair. That is absolutely not fair.
And for 8 good years.
I hope I'll have an opportunity to
And for 8
respond.
good years, Nana, that is how, if you want to understand how the MPP handled this country, just look into how they handled their political party and the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and you would begin to have a fair idea of how this country was managed in the last 8 years.
Very well.
Terrible.
Doc,
terrible.
I'll give you the final minute on the party
respond.
leadership.
You see, it's very, very interesting that the NDC continues to go on this tangent. Right? If you know anything about the history of the MPP, we started in opposition. We've always been the underdogs, and we do find our way to get back on our feet. When most of our great-grandparents and co were engaged in MPP politics, their leader at that time made it even illegal for political parties to exist. Yet they prevailed. They organized in small groups because they believed in the democracy and development of this country. That spirit is still there, and that's why we are still here. But to go on, the party that he's calling so many names, we took a wonderful, fabulous decision to do our presidential primaries first. They lamented. Now I understand why they are lamenting, because it has pushed them to also begin to hasten their steps. One day you hear that their national chairman is doing a thank you tour, which I think he has abrogated. I've not heard anything about it yet. I think we should ask.
Now we are mourning Nana Kunedu, so
we should ask Hamza about it. A thank you tour by the national chairman. Then we have a chief of staff whose wife is doing first lady to the chief of staff. I've never heard that term before. So you have your own.
Whose wife is what?
We've had first lady to the chief of staff. You didn't see that documentary that came out that was cancelled? Oh, I'll find out.
I don't think it's an official something.
Yeah, but it came out. But that's the
probably
internal.
The no,
that is the internal ramblings that's happening in the NDC. Pressure that they have bought from us for free. We were not even thinking about them in the scheme of things. Now to talk about the issue of what happened under Chairman Afoko and whatnot, I feel like the constitution of the New Patriotic Party was thoroughly tested at that time. It wasn't just a decision by somebody to remove somebody. There was grounds and basis for that removal. It went through the processes of the party. In fact, Paul Afoko took it to court. There was a court case on this matter. It went through the processes, and I believe that it's, as Hamza likes to rightly call, about testing systems and things. I believe it was a proper test of the constitution of the party with regards to the constitution of Ghana. And so it's in that basis, it is clear. And I feel like the NDC, they are speaking just the way we spoke in 2016. If you look at the tonation, the manner, the body language, and the confidence with which they speak.
Say politicians never learn.
It is the same 2016 behavior. I remember telling somebody that NDC would be in opposition for 20 years, but today we are here. So very soon,
Hamza said that you'll be in opposition for
very soon we'll be here, then you will be in opposition.
We need to leave it here.
I am convinced that your party has no
we have a live feed we have to take. But thank you so much for your time. This has been the News Review segment on Breakfast Daily. I am Nana Tufor Boateng. Don't go away though, the show continues after this.